And folks, welcome to another episode of Blinkers Off. We had great racing at Albion Park Saturday night. Mr. Feelgood claiming the scalp of Smokin' Up in the Garrad's Queensland Championship, the first Grand Circuit leg, and it was an exciting race, Chris Barsby.
It certainly was. Great to see that a Queenslander was able to win the big race here in Queensland. It's great to have these southern horses come north, but it's even better when the money stays in our state. So that was the case there on Saturday night. Good vibe trackside as well, good crowd. They want to see these good horses, and as it turned out, the best two horses in the race fought out the finish.
Exactly right, and we'll be looking a little later at the win of Mr. Feelgood, speak to some of the major players, a few other highlights from Albion Park, and tonight we go to the stables of John McMullen and family, and it is a real family affair. That's our feature interview tonight. First up, though, some news, and let's start with the Grant Dixon stable.
Well, big news coming through from the stable this week is that the forgotten horse of the stable is probably likely to trial this Thursday at the Gold Coast. The horse in question, I Am Sam. He's been off the scene for a heck of a long time, but he's set to go. They're going to be giving him a couple of steady trials to start his campaign, and probably from the stand start. There's no immediate plans. They just want to see how he comes through this, the first part of this campaign, and then they'll sit down and map out a bit of a campaign for him. But at this point in time, all's looking good. So I Am Sam not too far away. Furthermore to the Dixon stable, don't be surprised if Trista Baz, who's now working for the stable, applies for her driver's licence. So you might see a new driver on the scene very shortly.
Okay, we speak of Dixon's, we think then of McCarthy's.
Yeah, well, their recent import from New Zealand, he was a six-figure purchase Tearaway. He was all set to go. He's come down with a little bit of a virus, so that's been a setback for the horse. So he'll probably be off the scene for a couple of weeks just to get him right, and then John McCarthy will crank him back up again. But I know he's pretty keen on this horse. They paid big money for him, so expect to see him, getting close again in the coming weeks. And just on John and Narelle, big weekend, of course, with Mr. Feelgood Saturday night. First thing Sunday morning, they've been down to Sydney to see their new granddaughter. So they're proud grandparents, that's for sure.
And what's her name?
Lily Ann.
Lily Ann. Congratulations to Luke and Belinda. Speaking of Luke, For a Reason.
For a Reason is set to return to the stables of Luke McCarthy on November 1. He's been in and out of work over the past couple of weeks, just building him up nice and steadily. But come November 1, that's when they'll get serious with For a Reason again. So that'll be great for the stable down there, that's for sure.
Some news on Stand Beside Me, who was run down at the Gold Coast Friday night.
Well, John Sopper's looking at heading interstate. He's eyeing off the Chokin Championship Series coming up during the Miracle Mile Carnival in Sydney. So that's going to be the immediate aim. If he performs well in the Chokin Championship Series, he may even contemplate a further trip south to the Victoria Derby early next year.
Okay, some quick mentions. Cold Mountain Stud.
They're on the move as well. Murray Sullivan headed off today, taking a team of at least 5 to 7 horses south. So over the next month or so, you'll see Cold Mountain Stud, Murray Sullivan campaigning in Sydney.
What about the Redcliffe Yearling sale next year?
Well, nominations close on November 4th, so that's next week. So anyone with a yearling looking to nominate for Series number 5, make sure you contact Darren Ebbett because those nominations close November 4.
And I'm the Mighty Quinn, I think, won at Gloucester Park Friday night.
He was stunning on Friday night. He's going to back up this Friday night in the Mount Eden Sprint. And Smokin' Up, he is expected to fly out this Saturday bound for Auckland, or bound for Christchurch via Auckland.
Thanks, Chris. We'll take a break here on Blinkers Off. When we come back, we visit John McMullen and family and our feature interview tonight. Welcome back to the program. Don't forget, next Monday night on Blinkers Off, we visit Albion Park. Of course, it's got the for sale sign on it, and it's been the subject of a lot of conversation in harness racing in recent weeks. More about that next week in Blinkers Off. But let's go to our feature interview, and tonight we're visiting the stables of John McMullen and family at Glamorganvale. Well, as we know, the name McMullen is synonymous with harness racing in Queensland. Well, harness racing in general. And also harness racing is a family affair. So it's a wet old day at Glamorganvale, but we're here with Dad John, Mum Jeanette, kids Pete, Larissa, Danielle and Talia. It's an understatement to say this is a real harness racing family affair. John, it must have been a sharp change in lifestyle from training out of a city base with your dad at Albion to coming out here to Glamorganvale almost 20 years ago, with a big property and a new start.
Yes, David, it was a big change. I was working for my father for 10 years at Albion, and then I bought this property 20 years ago and just started training horses on my own, and it took a long time to get to where I am, but it was sort of just about there, I think.
When you arrived here with your wife, Jeanette, I think Pete was about, 6 months old?
That's right, Dave.
Yeah.
Yep.
And of course now 3 more along the way, Narissa, Danielle and Talia. We'll talk about them soon, but as far as you're concerned, you were of course shoeing as well as training a team, but a person came into your life, George Michael, changed it all around.
That's right, Dave. Originally when I first moved here, Dad brought his stallion, Supreme Dynasty, and a bunch of mares here, and I was running a bit of a stud first up. So George sent a mare to Supreme Dynasty, and that's how the association started. After that, he sent me a horse, and it just snowballed from there.
Of course, we know George's horses with the Melton moniker. Sometimes, I know even when I was calling, there'd be up to 5 or 6 Meltons in a race. Now, I've got to say, particularly over the last few years, these horses have really gone through their classes. A lot of people used to bag them and say they're no good at all, but the records say differently.
They've done a great job for me. They're not high class sort of mares, but yeah, they do the job, and I can't expect much more from them.
And you said to me, George is your perfect owner.
He is. If I drive a bad race, he never says anything. And like, he used to drive himself, so he knows what it's all about, and he knows you can't drive him perfect all the time.
You were a very good young driver. You represented Queensland. You won many races at Albion Park when the new track opened. In more recent times, you've taken a back seat to allow Pete to do the driving. Were you happy to do that?
Yep. Yeah, I love just watching Pete drive, especially when he's winning on them.
Now, we know when a young horse comes to the stable, you've got that sixth sense that it's going to be pretty good. With Pete, he was bought into harness racing. You can see he wanted to be a driver. Did you know early on that he was going to be as good as he's turned out?
Probably not. No one knows, how they're going to turn out really. But he's done a great job, and yeah, I can't ask for anything more.
The figures he's produced, I mean, he's still only young. The figures he's produced, wins-wise, is quite extraordinary.
It is. I don't know why they go for him. I'll jump on a horse that he's drove the week before and go legless, and he'll jump back on it the following week and come out and win, or if not winning, just getting beat. So I don't know why they go for him, but it was a turning point, I think, in his driving career when I took Pete to America, and he drove over there, and we were only 2 doors down from Ronnie Pearce, who we went to the races with Ron the night that Pete drove at the Meadowlands, and he gave Pete a few tips on driving, and I think that really just helped his career.
Did it surprise you, and I suppose Jeanette, that Narissa and Danielle took a shine to harness racing as well, and they're really part and parcel of the whole business here?
They are. All the kids did the painting, so they could all handle the horses and all drive. And probably not surprised with Narissa. She was pretty keen, not as keen as Pete, because he was just he was unbelievable how he was with the horses. But Narissa was always pretty keen, but Danielle wasn't as keen. But as you get a bit older and probably see the other kids driving now, so she's sort of keen on driving, so she's going to start driving in the trials shortly.
And they tell me the littlest one, Talia, who's 10, she's not really interested in them at this stage.
No, she hates the horses.
Yeah. Time's on her side anyway, because just like the other girls, she might start to like them as well.
Yeah, you never know, but she keeps saying no.
Pete, you were literally born to drive. Your grandfather was a legend in harness racing, Hollywood John McMullen. Your dad, of course, John McMullen, involved in the business. And obviously from a very early age, you wanted to be part of harness racing.
Yeah, that's right, Dave. Ever since I can remember, I've always been horses around, and I enjoy being around them, and luckily enough, I've sort of grown up with them, and they've become just my lifestyle, and it's a bit of luck. I've been able to sort of make a career out of it.
You're not even 21 yet. You've driven for 4 years. You've driven almost 500 winners, so they're fantastic figures. If you weren't a success in harness racing, would you keep going in it?
Yeah, I think I would. Maybe not to the extent I am now. There's sort of, unless you're sort of really doing good, it is hard to make a living out of it. Lucky enough, I've got a lot of good people around me who really give me a good kick along, and it's really helped my career.
You've got goals. You've got a goal this season you might like to tell us about. There's something you want to achieve.
Yeah, 200 winners would be great. Just fell short last season. You know, hopefully it's a reachable goal and we'll give it the best shot.
Narissa, they tell me you're the brains in the family. You love your harness racing, but you're not going to make a career out of it.
Yeah, that's right. I'm planning on going to uni next year and making a career in science or something like that.
Important time for you. It's your last year in secondary school. The OPs will be out soon, so you're pretty hopeful you'll get a good result?
Yeah, I'm hoping so.
What about the harness racing driving? Did you always want to get involved into it?
Yeah, I've always loved driving since I've driven the Shetlands, and I just wanted to do it.
And what about advice? Does Dad or does Pete give you advice?
Mostly Dad, but Pete does as well.
And not always advice you like to hear all the time.
Yeah.
How many winners have you driven?
I've driven 14 winners.
Yeah. Do you plan to keep driving when you do your university studies as well?
Yeah, definitely. I want to drive during the week and everything while I'm at uni.
Well, Danielle, with Pete, it's harness racing all the way. Narissa wants to study and do harness racing as well. What about you? Where's your future headed?
About the same, just harness racing. And yeah, I want to go to uni, but just do horses part-time too.
Always wanted to drive the horses? Narissa said she always wanted to. What about yourself?
Yeah.
And I heard that you were actually suspended from a day from the school for texting too much recently. Is that
Yeah.
right? Or is someone telling me a fib there? Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
What about, how are you headed with your driving? When will you get your licence to be able to drive in races or trials?
Well, I can start the trials pretty much now. I've just done the course. And then when I'm 16, in like 6 months, I can start doing the actual races after I've done the trials.
Is there plenty of rivalry in the family with Pete and Narissa?
Yeah.
And who gets the final say?
Probably Peter.
Now this can't be right. A McMullen who doesn't like horses. You're the youngest, Talia, you're 10, and you don't like the horses. Is that right?
I help out sometimes, but I don't think I'm really going to do the horses when I'm older.
They tell me that when I came out here today, they've never seen you work as hard. Is that because the camera was here?
Well, sometimes I work, but just not all the time.
Now, what about, you did go to the Inter-Dominion in Sydney last year and saw Black's a Fake. You must like him as a horse. He's a champion.
Yeah.
All right, well, you're only 10. What do you want to do in life? What do you want to be?
A lawyer or a teacher?
But not a harness racing driver.
No.
Yeah, there's plenty of fun going out to the McMullens, and they really enjoyed their harness racing. Good to see. Let's take a break, come back with all of the action of Garrad's Queensland Pacing Championship night at Albion Park on the weekend. And welcome back to the program. Great night at Albion Park Saturday night. Let's go straight to the QPC, presented by Garrad's. 2680 metres. Smoking Up was the favourite with Mr. Feelgood, a clear-cut second elect.
Ready. There's the light. They're racing. Smoking Up got the first call, poked the head in front, but Mr. Feelgood is going to boot through on his inside and keep the lead. Going forward was Be Good Johnny. He's a buzz and goes to fourth. Trap wide was Sharky, but he's pressing forward. Atomic Arc between runners. Be Diligent racing wide. Artifact to the inside. Then in the light of day, Loosen the Load goes out to the tail. Smoking Up takes it up. Smoking Up goes clear, 2,200 metres left to run, and it's the champ, Smoking Up leading the way. Moving to second on the outside was Sharky. Leaders back third, Mr. Feelgood. 3 wide pushing forward, Be Diligent. Be Good Johnny is 1 by 1. He's a buzzin', is racing sixth. He's 3 back on the inside. Atomic Arc midfield in the moving line, then Artifact are in the light of day, and Loosen the Load. A line of 3 by the judge on the first occasion. Smoking Up getting no peace, with Sharky kicked up in the centre. Be Diligent planted 3 wide. Mr. Feelgood on the leaders back. 1 by 1, Be Good Johnny. He's a buzzin' as 3 back on the inside. Then Atomic Arc, Artifactor. In the light of day, Loosen the Load. Be Diligent. He was trapped wide early. He now goes back to the tail. Back from where they started from. 1 mile left to run in the QPC for Garrard's, and it's Smoking Up in front. Smoking Up leading by a neck. Washaki has the job that no one wanted, parking on the outside of Smoking Up. He'll have to turn in a monster performance to score Washaki. Mr. Feelgood, he's got the head right on the Justice helmet, lying third. One by one, Be Good Johnny, he's a buzzing, locked away, 3 back on the inside. He's covered up by Little Atomic Arc. Artifactor on the inside of In the Light of Day, then Loosen the Load. And Be Diligent is now at the tail. That lead time, 78.6. Smoking Up cruising up front, and he's dictating terms. They play the Smoking Up game, and naturally, he rules the roost. It's Smoking Up leading narrowly, where Sharky is without cover. Mr. Feelgood, every chance, third on the inside. Looking to dive bomb, Smoking Up late. Be Good Johnny in the sweet seat, 1-1. He's a buzz on the inside, then Atomic Arc. Artifactor is going fiercely, 4 back on the inside, then In the Light of Day. Be Diligent starting a 3-wide move again. Loosen the Loaders at the tail. The first quarter of the last mile in 30.3. They head by the 800 metre marker. The second split in 30.2. Smoking Up leading narrowly, where Sharky is going up to challenge on the outside. Mr. Feelgood third. Justice knows he's got Mr. Feelgood right on his back. Be Good Johnny travelling well, 1-1. He's a buzzing, sticks to the inside, then Atomic Arc. Be Diligent very wide, then In the Light of Day, Artifactor. And dropping away was Loosen the Load. The power goes on. Justice starting to power drive. Smoking Up. He leads the way by a head. On the outside, second was Sharky. Mr. Feelgood ready to pop that pocket. He's third on the inside. Be Good Johnny. He's about to ease 3 deep. Then he's a buzzing. That third quarter, 28-1. They're at the top of the lane. 200 metres left to run. And it's Smoking Up leading the way with Sharky all out on the outside. Mr. Feelgood darts back to the inside. Be Good Johnny still running on. It's Smoking Up. Mr. Feelgood finishing fast. Very fast. Mr. Feelgood goes to Smoking Up. Got him on the line. Queensland victory. Mr. Feelgood beats Smoking Up. He's a buzzing around third. Was Sharky or Be Good Johnny next?
Luke, well done. You had the nice barrier draw helped, but some surprise to run the champ down?
Yeah, we had to draw. We had to draw better than Smoking Up to beat him. He's just been so good lately. When we come up with one, I was stoked, and it actually probably worked out good that he drew 2. I could just sit straight on his back and let him relax, and whereas if he'd have drawn out wide and it took him a lap to get there, maybe he would have been in 2 minds whether to let him go or whatever. But I just thought tonight sitting on him was our best shot out sprinting him, and worked out good.
When the sprint lane came, how quickly did he pick up?
Oh, really good. They come 27 change, and only Smoking Up. He's off the bit at the 600, but he just keeps going. He is a super horse, and that's probably why Menangle suits Smoking Up so good. But yeah, tonight we're just I haven't had a chance to drive our horse with a sit probably since his very first start when we got him. He won up the sprint lane. Other than that, he's always been doing the work, and yeah, he just worked out good to get a good trip.
Now, what now for both he and Washaki, who went super tonight?
Well, they'll head to Sydney for the Newcastle Mile. You have to go in the lead-up races now to be eligible for the Miracle Mile. So, yeah, hopefully we can win one of them and secure a spot.
All right, and just keep chasing the Grand Circuit around Australia?
Yeah, for sure. Like these horses now will, they'll race right through Sydney, and then, then they'll head off to Melbourne, and once that's all over, they'll be in Perth for a period of time when them good races are on. So yeah, they got a pretty busy time ahead of them, but yeah, it's nice to get the first leg of the Grand Circuit out of the way.
Mate, big week for you, Dad, and congratulations to you and Belinda.
Yeah, it's probably the best week of my life without a doubt. Had a gorgeous little girl last Sunday, Lily, and Lily Ann. And yeah, it's just been a magic week, and to win to a big race tonight, caps it off beautiful.
Well done, Luke.
Thanks, Damien.
Well, Kevin, it's always a great thrill to win a race, particularly in Queensland. Well done tonight.
Yeah, Damien, it's certainly a big thrill, but it's an even bigger thrill, I guess, when you beat a champion like Smoking Up.
It was a great battle, wasn't it? Smoking Up leading and you on his back, and that last 200 metres was an exciting affair.
Yeah, I guess the only way that we thought that we could be reasonably sure of beating him was to get that last shot in the last 100 metres or so. Because I think our horse is probably faster over that distance. But, Smoking Up's such a champion. I mean, don't underestimate him or don't write him off. He's a really nice horse.
What did you think coming into this race, Kevin? Did you give yourself from barrier draw some hope? He must have been. He's a second favourite, of course. But did you give yourself a real good chance?
No, I was fairly hesitant. you know, I knew how good Smoking Up was, and I knew that if our horse was on his game on the night, he'd go reasonably close. He ran a fantastic race last week off the second line and had to go up 3 wide. I think that was one of his best races, and that gave me a bit more confidence. But tonight I thought it was a toss of the coin. It was a 50-50 chance.
Luke drove him perfectly, but John's done a wonderful job with this horse over the last month or two.
Oh, look, unbelievable. I looked at the horse tonight and I said to both John and Luke, this horse is as fit as I've ever seen him since he came from America, and he should put a really good performance on the board for us, and that's exactly what happened.
What now for him, Kev?
We'll take him to the Miracle Mile and we'll race him there. The idea being to make sure we definitely get a start by going to the Newcastle Mile first. And that should ensure he gets a berth in the Miracle Mile. But the only race that's eluded us so far in Australia, we've won all those big feature staying races, is the Miracle Mile. And before we put him to stud, that's number 1 on our priority list.
So this will be his last racing season?
No, not necessarily. I mean, at first, the first thoughts are, yes, you'll put him to stud. And as you know, we've got 15 little Mr. Feelgoods now running around because we took some artificial semen out of him a couple of years ago. But if he continues to keep racing as good as he is, I can't see any reason why we should put him to stud. And it may be another year.
Kevin, your second Queensland Pacing Championship with this horse, over $3 million in prize money. Congratulations.
Thanks, Damon. I mean, it is great to win a race in front of your own home crowd, but it's also good for the horse that he's now got over that $3 million mark. I can recall when I first brought him out from America, everyone said to me, look, he'll be a speedy squib, that all these American horses are. You know, don't even waste your time putting him in the staying races. But as we both know, he's won the Hunter Cup and the Inter Dominion, our 2 major staying races, and he's proved to be a very versatile horse. I mean, he can win over a mile. And he can win over the staying distance. Look, we're delighted. It's been a great investment for Peter and Zilla O'Shea and myself. You know, it's a fairy tale story. I mean, it's a wonderful journey, and we're enjoying every moment of it.
Well done, and let's hope there's more success in the months to come.
We'll just keep our fingers crossed.
Lance, a game run by Smoking Up. How did you sum up the run?
Yeah, look, he went pretty good, but the best horse won on the night. Mr. Feelgood just beat him, and better horse tonight, so next time they go around again and see what happens.
Well, it's been a short but successful Queensland campaign. The win last week and second tonight. Obviously, you would have liked to win tonight. Do you think the horse raced up to his best?
No, not making excuses for him. He's had a bit of a checkered trip up, and I don't want to say make excuses and downgrade the race. The other was just too good on the night. But look, we're going to have plenty of other races. They're on again next week, and we'll go around again. And I'm sure that they'll be. Maybe the same result, might be a different result, but you know, who knows? Look, it's racing. It's you win some, you lose some.
Courageous run again. He always gives his best, doesn't he?
Yeah, no, he always gives his best. He always tries pretty hard. I don't think he handles his track as good as I would like him to, but you know, he doesn't have to race here all the time, so that's good. But doesn't matter.
All right, mate. And when do you go home?
We're leaving middle of the morning, 4 a.m. or something, I think.
Okay. Aiming for the Miracle Mile, obviously.
Yeah, we'll have him right by the Miracle Mile. We've got to do a bit of work by then, but that's what we're aiming for.
Thanks for your time, mate.
Thank you.
Jim, he's a buzzing. You had to be happy with that run. He found the line very hard.
Oh, terrific, yeah. Like, once Smoking Up got the front and Feelgood was behind him, that was sort of the Quinella a long way out. And to run third and be right behind him, I was very happy.
His 2 runs in Queensland now have been very good.
For sure. Like, he didn't have much luck last week when he got posted 3 wide up the back straight, and that's sort of not his go. And he found the line real good tonight, so, yeah, no, very happy with him, for sure.
Okay, now what's his future over the next few weeks?
Yeah, we're going home tomorrow morning, and we just see how he pulls up and everything, but he's not really a mile horse, but when it's in your home state, you know, the feature mile races, I suppose you've got to have a little shot at him, but his main aim will sort of be the True Memorial into the Victoria Cup, I'd say.
He's a 10-year-old now, but he's racing as sharp as ever.
Yeah, for sure. Like, his full brother was Sting Like a Bee, and he sort of won all the Group 1s at 9 and 10, so he hasn't won a Group 1 yet, but he's won a Group 2, so hopefully the Group 1's not far away.
Well, he's knocking on the door. Good luck, mate.
Thanks very much.
And so the show rolls on to the Miracle Mile at Menangle later in November. Let's have a look at another highlight from Albion Park. Race 1 on the card. Let's go to the action.
Back straight quarter in 28 seconds. Put to pressure on the outside, Extreme Stature. 3 wide, Doug's Place. Grey Steel going well, just needing that sprint lane. Then a Mr. Commitment, Greenman's Valley, She Chose Us. The Blur and No Swaps. They're into the home stretch now. Well caught, Marsh leads the way. Trying hard, Extreme Stature. Grey Steel gets the run. Doug's Place still running into it. Greenman's Valley down the outside. Well caught, Marsh. Extreme Stature. Well caught, Marsh. Grabbed by Extreme Stature. Too good again. Extreme Stature. Beat Well caught, Marsh. Doug's Place. Greenman's Valley.
Well, Shane, Extreme Stature just continues to race well and he's running fast times.
Yeah, that's right. He's going super. I think that's his 4th run in quick times, and he just sort of touch wood. He seems to be getting a bit better each week.
Now, tonight from the second line, you were able to track through, and probably the first 500 metres was a big advantage for you because you didn't have to do the early work and then cruise around to the breeze.
Yeah, he's been lucky like that. Like his last 2 the other week here, he didn't have to do any work early, and the leaders sort of went a bit hard. And when they were looking for a breather, both times he's got to just poke around and sit in the death. So he's been probably lucky like that.
He's been very good for Vicky and yourself since he's come up here. His first 2 runs were really good, then he just sort of tapered off a bit, didn't he? But his last 4 have been great.
Yeah, that's right. His first 2 were real happy, and he won that final. And then after that, I don't know, he couldn't sort of put a finger on it. He just went, he's going around but just battling. And then just the last probably month, 5 weeks, he sort of, settled back in, and he has been racing terrific.
You drive him tough and he races well that way, but as you get up in grade, is he the sort of horse that will come off the speed as well?
I'm sure he will. Like when he come up, they said he was just a high speed horse, like he could really zip a quarter, or 200 metres was his go, and we were driving him like that, and he was sort of racing just, going around, so I sort of started putting him into it, and he's been racing good, but his last 2, I'm sure once he gets up in grade, he'll be able to follow him. Like, most horses that can do work, they... if you go back to getting a bit of cover and that, they'll get home. So I'm sure he could still, have that speed there if you drove him that way.
Team's going great for Vicky and yourselves. Lots of winners.
They are. We're just waiting for it to end, but we'll enjoy it while it lasts.
Well done, Shane.
Thanks, buddy.
And there was Shane Graham. Miracle Mile. Who's going to win the Miracle Mile?
Oh, if I'm the Mighty Quinn wins, he just wins. If he comes, he wins. He was just stunning there on Friday night. He is the fastest horse in Australasia. Not officially, but if he was sitting on Smoking Up, he would win the Miracle Mile. So if he arrives, it's highly unlikely, but he'd be my tip.
Good on you, Chris. Talk to you soon.
Thanks, David.
Chris Barsby, part of the program tonight. Folks, thanks for your company. Look forward to being with you again next Monday night for another edition of Blinkers Off.